1 year ago, the first US-UK attacks were carried out against Yemen following the blockade enforced in the Red Sea in support of Gaza amid the ongoing Israeli genocide. Throughout this year, many things have changed, but one thing remained constant: Yemen's unwavering support for Gaza despite global pressure on Sanaa. So a timeline might be useful to remind us of Yemen's steadfastness in the face of the war machine of the United States and its allies. Following Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, the Yemeni armed forces announced the enforcement of a naval blockade in the Red Sea, warning Israeli ships not to pass through the Red Sea or head to ports in occupied Palestine. After the announcement, the US sent the Gerald R. 4 carrier strike group to the Mediterranean, thinking it would send a message to Yemen. Of course, this did not work. The Yemeni efforts to exert pressure on Israel to stop its genocidal campaign against Palestinians continued. A month later, the Yemeni armed forces downed an American MQ-9 drone worth about $30 million. Since then, the Yemeni armed forces have downed more than a dozen of these drones. In a sophisticated operation, the Yemeni armed forces seized the Galaxy Leader, a cargo ship partially owned by an Israeli businessman. The blockade on the Red Sea was officially extended by Yemen to include the Bab el-Mandab Strait, further pressuring the Israeli occupation to cease hostilities against Palestinians. The United States responded by launching Operation Prosperity Guardian, forming a coalition of over 20 countries with the aim of stopping the Yemeni armed forces. The operation ultimately failed, as European countries such as France, Italy, Spain, the Netherlands, Norway, and Denmark declined to send warships to the region. Meanwhile, Yemeni support for Gaza continued to gain momentum. When Operation Prosperity Guardian failed to break the Yemeni blockade, the US resorted to its preferred method of conflict: destruction. January 12 marked the first military attack by the US and the UK, with the support of other nations on Yemen. It was the first of many to follow. Once again, the Yemeni armed forces expanded the scope of the blockade to include the Arabian Sea. The decision forced shipping companies to reroute their vessels away from the blockade zone. The Yemeni armed forces announced the integration of long-range ballistic missiles into their arsenal. This highlighted the growing capabilities within Yemen's extensive arsenal of homegrown weapons. The Yemeni armed forces used the Palestine II hypersonic missile for the first time in a strike against Tel Aviv. The Yemeni armed forces announced the downing of an F-18 aircraft foiling an American-British attack on Yemen and forcing the USS Harry Truman to withdraw. The missile would later be used more frequently, proving its ability to bypass advanced Israeli air defenses. Looking back at these events, one cannot but admire Yemen's model of resistance. Cost-wise, the Yemeni armed forces baffled Israeli and American experts with the capabilities of their homegrown arsenal. I mean, I would be frustrated if a $2,000 Yemeni surface-to-air missile downed my $30 million drone. But most importantly, Yemen never stopped. A coalition of over 20 countries was formed, with American aircraft carriers and destroyers regularly bombing Yemen. The Israeli occupation also attacked Yemen's main port, all while Yemen was coming out of a 9-year war. Yet, Yemen never stopped.